Here we go again, folks. Happy new week. Happy last week of the month of September. We are getting to the end of the third quarter of 2020. I'll give a second for our rooms to populate here. As y'all are checking in, go ahead and shout yourself out in the comments section. We're going to get into what we're getting into here. As y'all check in, again, shout yourself out in the comments section. We're going to get to it. I'm going to give everybody like 30 seconds and we're going to get right to this material. Happy weekend. That's over. Everybody, happy new week. Hopefully y'all looking forward to Mondays. Hopefully whatever it is you're doing, school, business, work, you look forward to Mondays. All right, Monday used to be a period that a lot of people hated. I don't know how people feel about it now. I used to hate Mondays because I hated going to school on Monday. But now I ain't in school no more. I look forward to Monday. Actually, all the days are equally enjoyable. Coffee the Great was going on. Mozart Gates checking in, New Mexico. That is. So as y'all checking in, again, shout yourself out. I'm gonna give everybody like 10 more seconds to introduce yourself in the comment section, and we're gonna get right into this because y'all see what the topic is. I mean, I shouldn't even be taking this much time that I'm taking right now. Devontae, the Don. Shout out to Devontae. Shout out to Jodeci. As y'all checking in, my name is Dre Baldwin, also known as Dre All Day. Former 9-year professional athlete. I'm the author of 27 books, 27 of these publications right here, and that is not an exaggeration, just actually the real number. And what I do, for those of you who don't know, I took all the mental tools necessary that you need to succeed in the sports world, and now what I do is I teach people how those tools apply in business and in life. And what we call that is this whole philosophy here that I created that is called work on your game. The 4 central tenets of this philosophy is discipline, showing up every day, confidence, putting yourself out there, mental toughness, continuing to show up, put yourself out there even when things aren't working, and personal initiative, making things happen instead of waiting for things to happen. And the topic here today, as you can see in the title, if you are on Facebook, sometimes on Facebook, it doesn't always show the title when it's over, but the title is in there when you click on it. Y'all should see it below the video right now, hopefully. Periscope, y'all can see it. Instagram, y'all can see it. The title is Early is on Time. What we're talking about here today is discipline. Today we're talking about professionalism. We're talking about making sure that you are sticking to a script. First of all, understanding the script and making sure that you're sticking to the script. And this is something that I heard a business person say years ago. It's probably, I had to be maybe a teenager, maybe in my early 20s. This guy was just talking about some kind of business meeting that was going on. He was telling everybody, make sure you get there on time. And then this is what he said. He said, early is on time is late, and late is forgotten. It was the businessman that said it. But then when I was in college playing ball, I think maybe a year or so after that, one of my college coaches, he said a similar thing. He didn't say it that way, but he laid it out that way. And he was telling us, y'all got to be early for basketball practice. And if you show up on time, quote unquote, on time for basketball practice, you're late. And it's going to be a penalty for it. And he wasn't lying because there was a penalty when we were late. But anyway, the whole point today, we're talking about time. For those of you who don't know, time is the most important asset that you own. It is not your number of followers you got on any social media platform. It is not your email list. It is not the products or services that you sell. It is not the real estate that has your name on it. It's not your car. It's not one of your antique watches. The most valuable resource you own is your time, because if you lose your watch or you lose your house or you crash up your car or you get fired from your job or all your customers leave your business, you still have the opportunity to go get all of that stuff back. However, if you run out of time, all that's over. If you run out of time, doesn't matter how much money you got, doesn't matter if you got an 8-pack abs, it does not matter if you got big muscles, doesn't matter if you got 1 million followers on a social media platform. If you run out of time, the game is completely over. It doesn't matter who you are and what you are doing. There are 5 forms of investment in life that I've laid out many times. If you've never heard these before, it's because you might be new to me, but you won't be new after today. 5 forms of investment are time, money, attention, energy, and focus. These are 5 forms of investment that every human being who has become successful in anything must put all 5 in to their success. If you are successful in life, you have put these 5 elements in. You put time into making yourself successful. You have put money into it. You've given it energy. You paid attention, and you have focused on these things. So what we're talking about here today is the discipline of showing yourself and others how much respect you have for the job. Yeah, you can get one of these hats. Hit me in the Periscope. Hit me in the DM. I'll tell you how to get one of these hats. I don't even put them on my website, but I can tell you how to hit me in the DM. Anybody asking that question. So anyway, topic here today: early is on time. Point number 1. When I was in high school, I had a health teacher. I think his name is Mr. Sadek. He was like a football coach, and my high school didn't even have a football team, but he was an assistant coach for a different high school's football team while he was working as a teacher at my high school. And he would always give these little football references in the middle of his lectures in class. And one of the things he used to always say, he would just say this randomly. He'd be talking about something else. And in the middle of his lecture, he would just randomly blurt this out. He would say, anytime you get a job interview, kids, make sure you show up to the job interview 15 minutes early. And he said, the reason you do that, he was the first person I ever heard say this. He said, the reason you do that is so that they know that you know, so that you know that they know that you're thinking about it. So that you know that they know that you're taking this seriously, that you really want this job, and you're a type of person who's going to be professional, you're the type of person who's going to be early, you're the type of person who really wants the job. It's going to separate you from a whole bunch of other people applying for that same job. And that was years ago in high school. I don't remember anything else that teacher taught, but I do remember that thing. And it's funny how you go through a whole year of school, you remember like one thing the teacher said. And this is a sign of respect that he said. It's a sign of respect that you show to other people when you're early. It's a sign of respect to yourself when you do things early. And it's a sign of respect to everyone around you when you make it a standard for everyone to get things done early. Not do it at the last minute, not do it quote unquote on time. Doing things early shows that you're serious about it, and it lets everybody else know that this is how serious they need to be. It's a way that you set a standard in being early. When I was in college, as I just mentioned this, my sophomore year, college coach, he said, look, if basketball practice is at 4 o'clock, then everybody needs to be on the floor, dressed like with your jersey tucked in, your shoes tied, like you're actually ready to begin practicing at 3:45. That was his rule. He said, practice at 4, you need to be on the court, ready to go at 3:45. He said, if you walk in the gym at 4 o'clock, because practice is at 4 o'clock, we got a problem and it's going to be a penalty. And one day, that whole school year, that whole season, one time, like everybody was late. We had practice at 4 o'clock. Everybody showed up at like 3:50, and we all just sauntered onto the court taking our time. And the coach said, y'all remember what I told y'all at the beginning of the year, that if you show up after 3:45, you're late, right? And everybody said, yeah. And all we did was run that day. We did so much running that one day of practice. I think he wanted to see who he could make quit or something like that. We did a lot of running that day. So make sure, this is the point that I want y'all to understand. Early is on time, ladies and gentlemen. Anybody who's a true professional gets there early. Y'all hear athletes talk about, whenever you hear an athlete who's being talked up by his teammates or his coaches, or anybody trying to tell you how Kobe Bryant had this work ethic, or Michael Jordan or LeBron or whoever has this great work ethic, what do they say? They say he's the first one to get there and the last one to leave. They all say that, right? What does it mean the first one to get there? Usually that means you get there before everybody else shows up. Not at the practice at 8 o'clock. You're not walking in the gym at 7:50 and then getting dressed and then you're ready for 8 o'clock. You're there way before everybody else shows up. Why? Because early is on time when you're the best. Early is on time when you're serious. Early is on time when you're being a professional. I worked with this basketball trainer once. He was telling me this story. Who knows if it's actually true or not? Because, when players become, legendary, all these stories start getting passed around. They just become legend. But he said Michael Jordan, when he was on the Chicago Bulls in his heyday, Jordan would come to the practice facility like 2-3 hours before practice, and he would have his trainer take him through all these drills, like on the court basketball drill. I'm not talking about weightlifting, but on the court basketball drills. He would do all these drills by himself before anybody else showed up. Then Mike would go in the locker room. He would put on his regular clothes, like his street clothes that he came in, and then he would go sit in his car in the parking lot. And then when all the other players from the Bulls showed up, Michael, when he saw them showing up, he would get out of his car and walk in the facility with the rest of them as if he had just showed up, because he didn't even want them to know that he was putting in that extra work. He was just looking to get that edge. But the point is this: early is on time, ladies and gentlemen. In the NBA, for any of you who don't know kind of the inner workings of how it works, let's say outside of the bubble, in a normal NBA season, if a team is playing on the road, so let's say the Minnesota Timberwolves are playing against the Miami Heat for a road game. So the Timberwolves are staying at a hotel in Miami, right? So what they have is they had 2 buses that take the team from the hotel to the gym for the game that night. So let's say the game is at 8 o'clock. Let's say it was a game tonight, 8 o'clock at Miami American Airlines Arena. So the Timberwolves hotel, there's an early bus and a late bus. So let's say the first bus leaves the hotel at like right now. It's about almost 5 o'clock Eastern time. So 5 o'clock Eastern, the first bus, the early bus, leaves the hotel, and then another bus leaves at like 6 o'clock. And the rule is all the players got to be at the gym by, let's say, 6:30 because the game's at 8 o'clock. So what happens is the late bus usually is where the veterans, the proven guys, a lot of times they show up on the late bus because they're already established. They play in all the games. They've been putting in all this time. They don't need to get any extra work in because they're about to play 48 minutes in the game. So they don't need to do extra training before the game. And the early bus is usually the people on the fringes of the roster, the rookies, the players that don't play that much. They show up early so that they can get some extra time in so they can work on their game because they're not going to play in the game. So basically the workout before the game is their game. Now there's this guy that many of you probably heard of. His name is Ray Allen. Y'all remember Ray Allen? He's retired now, but he played for a bunch of teams in the league. He played for the Timberwolves. No, not the Timberwolves. Played for the Bucks. He got drafted by the Timberwolves. Played for the Bucks. Played for Seattle. And then he played for Boston. And then he played for Miami. So he didn't play for that many teams. He played for 4 teams in the league. Won a championship with Boston. Won a championship with Miami. And here's the thing about Ray Allen. Everybody knows Ray Allen was like the greatest three-point shooter of all time. Steph Curry's probably going to pass him. Klay Thompson might pass him. Maybe Trae Young will pass him. But Ray Allen was, when he retired, he was the greatest three-point shooter of all time. Now, Ray Allen was known for having, people would joke that he had obsessive compulsive disorder. That he was OCD about shooting, about his routines, about everything. And Ray Allen always got up extra shots, way more than anybody else. And this is why he was such a great shooter. So this is what Ray Allen would do. Now, let's say on his team, there's the early bus and the late bus. He would, of course, want to get on the early bus so he can get that early work in. But Ray Allen felt, according to him, that the early bus wasn't early enough. So guess what Ray Allen would do? He would call. All right, we back here, Instagram. All right, so we back on Instagram. So here's what was happening. Back to my story. So Ray Allen, instead of taking the early bus, which would have got him to the gym at, let's say, 5 o'clock with a bunch of the rookies and the guys on the end of the bench and the guys who weren't playing that much, Ray Allen would take a taxi. He would pay for his own taxi, and he would get to the gym before the early bus. Why? Because Ray Allen wanted to get those extra shots up. Now, you might think that is OCD. Maybe you think Ray Allen's crazy for doing all that extra work, but we can agree that it paid off for Ray Allen because Ray Allen was a hell of a shooter. He was a hell of an NBA player, and I think he's already in the Hall of Fame or he's going to be in the Hall of Fame. What is the whole point of this? Because Ray Allen was the best shooter out there, at least in his time, and when he needed to make that three-pointer in the 2013 NBA Finals, that backpedaling three in the corner, that's because of those extra hours that he put in, not because of just talent, not just because of Ray Allen was just lucky. It was Ray Allen put in that extra work. So anyway, Brandon Joe said Facebook seems reliable. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what that is. Anyway, point number 2, today's topic is early is on time. Second point is this: on time is late, ladies and gentlemen. When you are what I call an A player in life, there are different levels of players. Y'all know in school you can get an A, B, C, D, or F as a grade. When you're an A player, one of those top players, one of those level 10 individuals, being on time means being late. In other words, if you're doing things at the same time that everybody else is doing them, what are you doing? You are part of the masses. You're part of the group. You are part of the average. All right, you fall in with everybody else. You're blending in with the crowd. And if you plan on being an A player in life, you never blend in with the crowd. You never do the same thing that everybody else is doing. You never just fall in line with what the masses have going on. Why? Because how are you going to separate yourself from the masses if you're doing the same thing that the masses are doing? How is that? That's impossible. You can't do it. The bottom of the pyramid, ladies and gentlemen. Y'all know what a pyramid is, right? Shaped like a triangle. Where are all the people at? All the people are situated at the bottom of the pyramid. The masses are down here at the bottom. They're the ones who show up on time, pretty much. So practice at 4 o'clock. They show up at 3:58, and then they walk in there and they're walking on the court ready to go right there at 4 o'clock on the dot. The A players, they're showing up at 3:30, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 3:45. They're early. Why? Because early is their version of on time. All right, being on time is a late thing to them. They're not doing what everybody else is doing. When I was playing ball, and I would put up these workout videos. I'd be in an empty gym practicing. A lot of players would always say to me, well, commentators would say, Dre, how is it that you always have the gym to yourself? How is it you always have this empty gym? People say, well, do you own a gym? Did you rent out your own gym? Do you, I don't even know what other theories people have. They would ask me questions like that. And I would say, listen, the reason why I have the gym to myself is because I'm the one who understands that early is on time. So I would show up to the gym not when I felt like it. Listen, I could have did whatever I wanted to do all day. I could show up any time that gym was open over the course of the day. I showed up early. Why? Because early was on time for me. And I realized that if I showed up as early as possible, when the gym first opened, nobody else would be there. So I could have the gym to myself. Nobody could bother me. I could set up my little camera, do my drills, and nobody got in my way. Early was on time for me. On time was late. What time was on time? Let's say 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, there'd be a few stragglers start coming in the gym. But guess what? I didn't have to deal with the stragglers when I showed up at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock in the morning, there was no competition for that, because on time is late, ladies and gentlemen. If you are going to be an A player, all you got to do, let me help y'all out. Let me make this more simple for you. If you want to be an A player in life, or A being like the highest grade you can get, look around at what everybody else is doing in your industry, in your field, at your job, even on your own team. Look around for what everybody else is doing, and what you need to figure out is, what can I do that's different from them? What can I do better than them? What can I do earlier than them? How can I separate myself in some way? Now, you can still be part of the team. Don't mean that you putting yourself above people, but if everybody on the team shows up for practice at 9 o'clock, everybody gets there at 8:50, how about you start getting there at 7:50 so you can get an extra hour of work in before everybody else gets there, so that you can get better at a faster pace than everybody else is getting better. I mean, if you're serious about getting better, I shouldn't even have to tell you that. If you're serious about getting better, if you're serious about improving, everybody in your business and your company is reading one book a month, then how about you start reading 2 books a month? So instead of waiting until the first of the month, let's say you finished last month's book by the 15th, instead of waiting until the first to hear what the next book is, why don't you just read another book between the 15th and the 30th? So then when the next month comes, you start reading the same book as everyone else. You already got an extra book in. Over the course of the year, that's 12 books. You add that up over 10 years, it's 120 books. Would that help? Now Facebook giving me an issue, but we're going to keep going here. I don't know what's going on here on Facebook. Anyway, the point is, ladies and gentlemen, early is on time. I told you that in the first point. On time is late. That is the second point. Make sure that when you have A players on your team, or if you plan on being an A player on your team, you're doing these things without somebody telling you. I shouldn't even have to remind you of this. After you hear it one time, if you never heard this before, you should never have to hear it again. And if you are an A player, you should already be doing these things. You should be nodding your head and saying, yes, Dre, exactly. That's exactly what I've been doing. A players see things and take care of them without being told to take care of them. A player on your team and your business, they're going to notice that something's not working. They're going to fix it. Then after they fix it, they're going to tell you that something wasn't working, and they're going to tell you that they fixed it, and they're going to tell you how they fixed it. They're not going to come to you and say, hey, this is broken. I don't know what to do. They're not going to come to you and say, it's broken. Should I do something? They're not going to come to you and say, this is broken. No, how should I fix it? They're going to go and fix it on their own volition, then let you know that they took care of it, because that's what an A player does. An A player notices something that needs to be addressed. They address it. Then they let everybody else know after it's taken care of. You understand what I'm saying? That is what A players do. A players are there early. A players help the team win. A players make the team better. A players set standards. So look at yourself. Forget about other people. Look at yourself and ask yourself, in the groups that you're a part of, whether it's a family, a sports team, a business, your group of friends, whatever, are you setting the standard for other people to follow? Are other people following what you do, or are you following what other people do? Which one do you want to be in life? Do you want to be the follower, or you want to be the leader? C players, the average people, they just basically do what you tell them to do. All right, whatever you tell them to do, they'll do it. They're fine. They're like foot soldiers, though. It's like, all right, you tell them what to do, they do it. Tell them something else, they do that. Tell them something else, they do that. Those are C players. I mean, you basically gotta baby them. Every time they need to do something, you gotta tell them about it. And if you don't say nothing, they do absolutely nothing. Those are the C individuals. Do you want to be a C level player or an A level player? Now let me tell you about the last group. We got to make sure we cover this as well, because some of you might fall into this category. We got to keep it real. Third category is late is to be forgotten. This is what the businessman told me when I was like 19. He said, to be early is to be on time is to be late, and to be late is to be forgotten. It means you get left behind, it's over. Any of you ever been late for a flight? Does the plane wait for you? Unless you're the owner of the company, and unless it's your jet, that plane ain't waiting for you. That plane's taking off. You missed your flight. Next time you go in the airport, you see somebody running through the terminal. What are they trying to do? They're trying to make sure that they're not late. They're trying to at least be on time. Me, when I go to the airport, anybody who knows me knows, I get to the airport like an hour and a half before the flight even starts boarding. And I just stand there and chill. Why? Because early is on time. Like, how you do anything is how you do everything. I'm not telling you got to be early for your flights, but you might want to be early for your flights. This is what I just told you. F-level players. What is an F-level player? All right, everybody went to school before, right? You know what it is when you get an F? That means you failed. That means you did not pass the test. You do not pass go. You do not collect $200. You're going to have to take that class all over again. You might have to repeat the third grade. Why? Because you were not sufficient in getting things done. You weren't even mediocre. You were terrible. You failed. All right, there was no success whatsoever. An F-level player, ladies and gentlemen, these are the people who do nothing at all, even after you tell them what to do. These are the people who you tell them to practice at 4 o'clock. Not only are they not early, not only are they not on time, they actually show up at like 4:15 and give you an excuse like, oh, I didn't know the practice was at 4:15. I didn't know I was supposed to be early. Or they got some excuse. They're always stuck in traffic, or my mom did this, or my son was bothering me, or I got stopped by a police officer, or it was raining. They got some kind of excuse for not doing what they're supposed to do. F-level players don't get things done at all. All right, average level, C-level players get things done, but only when you tell them to do it, and only after you got to check on them. A-level players get things done that you didn't even ask them to do. So ask yourself, what level player are you? Are you an A-level player doing things on your own volition because you take initiative? A C-level player, you do what you're told, but nothing more, nothing less. Or an F-level player, you can't even do what you're told. You don't get anything done. You're basically not bringing any value to the table. What level player are you? Are an F-level, A-level players make the job easy. C-level players make the job a job, and F-level players make the job harder. So ask yourself which one you are. Is the F-level player making your job harder by their presence? A-level player making the job easier. I remember Jay-Z told the story of how he had this artist signed to his label, and he ended up dropping this artist off of his label. And he said one of the main reasons he dropped this artist is because this person was showing up to the studio later than Jay-Z was showing up. Jay-Z's like, listen, I done sold the most records of anybody on this label. I done made the most money. I got the biggest name. How am I, as big of a star as I am, getting to the studio earlier than you when you're a nobody and you haven't even put an album out yet? How is that possible? And Jay-Z dropped this artist from the label because he felt like they were not committed enough. They weren't even dedicated enough to get there on time, let alone get there early. They were showing up late because apparently, according to what Jay-Z followed up and saying, that this person probably thought they were a star before they had actually achieved anything. Make sure you are not falling into that trap, okay? The person who is late to an opportunity, ladies and gentlemen, they missed the opportunity. All right, so actually, they're not late to an opportunity. They're just late, period, because the opportunity been gone. All right, any real opportunity in life, the only people who get it are the people who show up early. All right, you know the saying, the early bird gets the worm? And some people say, well, good things come to those who wait. No, what comes to those who wait are the crumbs left over by the early birds after they get done eating what they want to have. You get the sloppy seconds when you're showing up on time. If you show up late, you won't even know that a meal took place because you didn't even get a chance to eat. You didn't know a meal was happening. All right, the meal happened, got cleaned up, they didn't wash the dishes, everything's over. They didn't close the restaurant while the late people are showing up. F-level individuals are showing up, okay? Do not be late, ever in life, all right? Late is for losers, all right? So you want to remember early, on time, and late, all right? Just remember that L, late, stands for losers. Late people lose. When you are late, you automatically lost because the game, you can't even play in the game, all right? The game ended and you missed it, all right? You missed a Greyhound bus, you missed the train, you missed a flight, all right? That thing is gone. It does not sit around and wait for you. Again, unless you're the owner of the train or the owner of the plane, that train and plane ain't waiting for you. So make sure you are always early here in life. Let me recap these points, which I will do in 1 minute. First of all, I'm going to tell you how you can get this book right here in front of me for free, and I'm going to tell you how you can get this book right here, right after that. And I'm going to take any questions that anybody has in the comment section. Go ahead and post it right now. For whatever reason, Facebook's saying they have trouble playing the video. I don't know if it's trouble broadcasting it or it's not. But anyway, we're going to keep it moving either way. This is the first book of mine that you should read. It's not my first book. It's the first book of mine you should read. I've written 27. People ask me, Dre, which of your books should you read first? It is this one. It's called The Mirror of Motivation. The subtitle is The Self-Guide to Self-Discipline. The Work on Your Game philosophy is based on 4 principles: discipline, confidence, mental toughness, and personal initiative. So you're going to start with discipline, okay? You can get this book for free by going to mirrorofmotivation.com. That's the link that I got pinned comment or right here on Periscope and down on Facebook. And let me tell you why you want to get this book. Again, it's mirrorofmotivation.com. All you do is cover the shipping. The book is paid for. Let me tell you why you want to start with this book. Every one of you who's listening to me right now have things you wish to achieve in life. You have goals that you wish to accomplish, which is great. Keep having goals. You also understand that you can't get something for nothing in life. You got to put some type of effort in to get some type of outcome, all right? Most of you understand you got to work to get something, right? Good. That's a good idea. Keep thinking that. Challenge is, many of you never ask yourself a key critical question, which is, who do I need to be while I'm doing this work to get this result? Who do I need to be? This is the key question that most people never ask themselves in life. And if you never ask yourself this question, consciously or unconsciously, it doesn't matter how hard you work, you are not going to get the results that you want in life. And this is why some of you are working really hard and you have great plans and you're doing everything you're supposed to do, yet things are still not working for you. Let me explain to you what this book is going to do for you. This book right here is going to give you the framework for you to be able to look in the mirror, see who it is you need to be as a person, and make that a permanent way of being for you, so that when you take the actions that you need to take, you start getting the results that you want to get. That's what the Mirror of Motivation is about. And that's why the book is called The Mirror of Motivation. This is not Dre hyping you up. This is not some motivational speaker giving you inspirational tips. This is you looking in the mirror and creating your own framework for yourself to be who you need to be as a person, so you can do what you need to do and have what you want to have in life. I already told you that the book is already paid for. The book is free. You do not pay for this book. All you do is cover a small shipping charge by going to mirrorofmotivation.com. Mirrorofmotivation.com is the title of the book without the word the. You take care of the shipping. I will cover the cost of the book, mirrorofmotivation.com. Now, while you're there on that page, there's a little checkbox there that allow you to get, if you wish, what I call the Bulletproof Bundle, which is my 4 books on all the 4 pillars of the Work on Your Game philosophy. This is the discipline book. The confidence book is called the Super You. The mental toughness book is called the Mental Handbook. And the personal initiative book is called 100 Mental Game Best Practices. You can get all 4 by checking the box right there on that page for the Bulletproof Bundle. On the next page, we're going to offer you a copy of this hardcover, 250-page magnum opus called Work on Your Game. Use the pro athlete mindset to dominate your game in business, sports, and life. You can get this book plus my book, The Mental Workbook, which is the framework workbook. It's an actionable workbook that you write down in your plans to execute what you learned in this book right here. So this plus the mental workbook will be on the next page, and then we got 2 more we'll offer you on the page after that. But you don't have to remember any of that because all this stuff is automated. All you need to do is go to mirrorofmotivation.com, put in your information, put in your shipping address, tell us where to send it, take care of the shipping. We will ship this book to you worldwide, anywhere that you live. Mirrorofmotivation.com. All that being said, I'm going to recap these points and then I will answer these questions. Actually, these points will be real quick here today. Today's topic is the point number 1. I'll just tell you the whole thing. Number 1, early is to be on time. A-level players are always early. They do things early. They do things by taking initiative. They don't wait till somebody tells them what to do. They see something needs to be done and they just get it done. Why? Because that's what A-level people do. You don't have to tell them to do it. You don't have to tell them why to do it. They just get it done. Why? Because that's who they are. Point number 2. To be on time is to be late. All right, if you want to be average, if you want to live at the bottom of the pyramid, you want to be just like everybody else, all you got to do is do what everybody else is doing. When Michael Jordan enrolled at the University of North Carolina as a freshman, his assistant coach, a guy by the name of Roy Williams, he's the head coach now, he was the assistant back then, he said to Michael, look, you're going to have to work a lot harder at North Carolina than you did in high school. And Michael Jordan said, well, look, coach, I work just as hard as everybody else. And Roy Williams said to Michael, Mike, do you want to be like everybody else? And Mike didn't answer. It was a rhetorical question, but I think we know what Michael Jordan's answer was to the question. If you want to separate yourself from everybody else, you got to do something that everybody else is not doing. Ideally, you do a whole lot of things that everybody else is not doing. Ideally, you don't do anything that everybody else is doing so that you can't be average in any way, shape, or form. Average level people are on time. They do things when they're told to do them. They do things when everybody else doesn't. And point number 3. It's the level F people, that is to be late is to be forgotten. If you ever been late for a train or a flight or a bus, you just missed it. It does not wait for you. It does not slow down. It doesn't call you to find out where you're at. It just leaves you there. Why? Because you were late. All opportunities are missed by people who are late. As a matter of fact, people who are late don't even know that they missed an opportunity because all the opportunity is gone. Even the crumbs are gone because the people who are on time took it. But the people who get the best meal are the people who show up early. All that being said, mirrorofmotivation.com, you get this book. Book is paid for. All you do is cover the shipping. Again, that link is mirrorofmotivation.com. Let me take questions. Let me see if we got any. If you got a question, you can go ahead and post it right now as I scroll through. ARB said, I'm not early. Yeah, you were not early. Put on notifications, everybody, so y'all can check these. Tyler John Payne said, Dre, do you still hoop? No, I stopped hooping in 2015, man. I've been running a business since 2015 full time. I don't know where you've been, Tyler, but better late than never. Bell Floyd, you got the books. So that's what's up. Bell, send me a photo of you with the books. Take a photo with the books that you got and send it to me. Hit me in the DM with that photo. Bell said, I'm not holding your hand from the book. That's what's up. Yes, take a picture. We need photos. Anybody got any of my books, take a photo with the book and send it to me in the DM. Bell said, I hate people that are late. Well, you hate when people are late. I think it's what you don't hate the person. You just hate that they're late. Sports Lover said, what if I'm running late to my interview? You probably ain't getting the job. Sherwood says, that means you have a terrible work ethic. I don't know what part he was talking about. Yeah, Coffee, you got it right. You ain't getting a job. You wait till a job interview, forget it. So I always said I've always been late in school. Well, you better be a very good student, because if it comes down to a borderline call, the teacher might give you a lower grade just because you never on time. Now, if you was always early to class and as a borderline, you might get the benefit of the doubt. That's the way that it works, ladies and gentlemen. As they say, how you do anything is how you do everything. Do I still sell Work on Your Game shirts? No. Not actively, I don't. I ain't never really been into merch. Honestly, people sometimes ask me about selling the shirts. I ain't really a big merchandise person. I'm more on the intellectual property. I like that better than merchandise. So, Rich Shaft said something about Trump. I don't know why. Chopper on Savage, I told you where you can get the hat over on Periscope. Facebook, I don't know if the Facebook stream is working or not. It's giving me an error sign. Sports Lover said, what happened to beauty skin products? I never sold any beauty skin products. I don't know what you're talking about. Anyway, mirrorofmotivation.com. The book is already covered. All you do is cover a small shipping charge. I do these lives every day. I don't know what the topic's going to be tomorrow, but all y'all got to do is stay tuned. Oh, yeah, and on Wednesday, my NBA Finals preview video will come out. I'll put it out in the morning because the finals start Wednesday night. Yeah, Wednesday night. So that's that. Everybody have a great day. Work on your game. Keep your hands clean, all right? Because, I don't know, they say COVID is still out here. So keep your hands clean. Don't shake anybody's hand. Don't touch your eyes, nose, and mouth. We out of here. Work on your game. Dre all day.